What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I'm Mr. Straight Facts. Y'all, today is gonna be a different day. Not that the fact that it actually is a different day. I'm not even going to trip. Today I was in deep thought after watching periods of the news, different times of the day, and I realized how many fires this country is has set, rather. How many fires are going on, and how Donald Trump has set so many of these fires that our media, our politicians, it is one man, but yet it feels like thousands of fires. And it seems like each section of the Democrat Party, and what I mean by section, the far liberal and far middle, and they all are out here with a garden hose trying to put out each fire. And Americans are watching it and not knowing exactly what to do. Our leaders don't necessarily know what to do. These people have spent 50 years figuring out how to fuck up this country and turn it into a dictatorship the way they want authoritarianism. And we haven't set a plan on the Democrat side, on the independent side, to combat it. I remember hearing one of Donald Trump's minions say on his podcast that Donald Trump is a once in a lifetime politician or person, right? And what he meant by that with his white nationalist racist self was he grabbed the hearts and minds of people who were tired of the system, but twisted what he wanted to do for the system to get people to vote against their own self-interest because they were mad at how the country was running. I remember telling y'all that people in this country who are Republicans are racist, but they don't want to admit it. There's this stigma that if I admit racism, then what I've attained in life, I didn't work hard for. And I can't look at these brown and black people and say, sorry for what we did to you, because that would invalidate everything I have. And I can't do that. So they have a aversion to telling the truth, because the truth would mean they're not as qualified for what they have. And they're not hardworking getting what they have, that their privilege got them there. Not the fact that they didn't work hard like everybody else. That's the part that kind of like divides this whole thing, right? This stigma of everybody worked hard, or certain people worked hard to get what they got. And that may be true. But that's what separates it. It makes it seem like there are people who didn't work hard, and just that you didn't reach this level because you didn't work hard, but that's not the truth. All people in the workforce have worked hard. It's whether the opportunities presented themselves to you, whether you got the raise or you got pushed to the side. And for centuries, people of color, you know the history, got pushed to the side. Women, white, black, Latin, Asian, little, small, tall, thick, whatever, got pushed to the side. It was white men that got pushed forward. Not all of them, but enough of them that they took over. There are more white women in this country than there are white men. And if white women wanted to lead, they could. But they cede to these men. They recess to these men that treat them like absolute shit. Will shoot them in the face. And they still stay loyal to that white man that would shoot them in the face. Brutal to them. If you look at the amount of rapes and beatings that white women receive from white men, but yet will still lay beside that white man, that evil person that's destroying their life, but that privilege is more important to them than their safety. Sad. And how people of color always fighting to be equal when people don't really want you equal. They don't. This is what I thought about today, and it kind of made me sad, because I realized that there are people in this country that don't want to give equal chances to people because they know those people will probably outshine them. Not because they're just better than them, they're just more hungrier than them. And when somebody's hungry and they're given the opportunity, they shine. They'll work 10 times harder. When people have given privilege and work hard, but not 10 times harder, they don't want to lose their position. And they know they will. This happens with all races, even black people. Let's speak for a hot second. White people may not know this. It happens in your culture too. But black people, you know how many times we don't grew up in different areas. I grew up in the Midwest. Each state has its own, like industry that leads. Like in Indiana, it was mostly factories, Wonder Bread, UPS, and different things of that nature, metals and shit like that. And everybody was trying to get those jobs. We were trained to be worker bees in school. You can get that job at the plant, and you're the ones who can have a house and 2 cars, a dog, and 3.5 kids, and all this shit. But everybody else is going to be, have to work at these crappy places, and we fight for all that shit. We don't went through, that in different countries, in different eras in the country, but we will fight tooth and nail, get into that factory, and won't tell a cousin, a nephew, a niece, or a brother how to get in either. Because you don't want to be that one person who allowed your cousin in and your cousin rose above you. You got in and you start making $50 an hour and everybody making 25. We all don't know somebody in our lives that have gotten in that door and kept telling your ass, you know what, man? They ain't even hiring. They don't have nothing ready. They're hiring like crazy. But you don't want your ones that getting in because you got in. That doesn't happen to so many people, especially in the black community. I know for a fact because I am black. But I know it's happened in other cultures because, again, it's a mindset. You don't want somebody else to win because it threatens your win. And so when we see this country going the way it's going, it's because a certain sector of this country are scared for other people to win. So scared that they don't want to compete with you. They rather hold you down. That's why Donald Trump and these MAGA racists are out here killing even white women because they just don't want you to take their place. And they accept it because they just don't want you to accept their place, take their place. And the hardest thing to do is change the mind of a hateful, jealous person. Because if they change their mind, they feel like they lose out. They don't want to have to compete. Why? Because you're going to take my job. You're going to take my opportunity. That's why we're having this problem as it is. They literally have gotten people to believe, these Latin people, the ones they're chasing. They're not chasing the Latin people in rich neighborhoods. They're not chasing these Latin people that are CEOs. They're not chasing these ones who have just small businesses. They're chasing the ones that work on the farms, that cut people's grass. It does not fulfill what these hateful people want. They just like it, as you see Donald Trump and his minions are doing. They record it so that these racist people can see these Latin people, these black people, these people they hate in pain, so that they can get this endorphin rush. Look what they're doing to these niggas. Look what they're doing to them. Oh, it feels so good. I feel better. I'm a better white person because look what they're doing to these Latin people. Look what they're doing to these black people. That white woman, she's just a nigger lover. So why? Why do I care? That's the truth of what they're doing. That is the absolute truth of what they're doing. And people become complacent. It's not my problem. I don't have nothing to do with it. I don't feel that way. While letting it happen, doing absolutely nothing, raising your voice not, because you're afraid they're going to do it to you. And that's their point. Kill her, make you afraid, and they get stronger. I prayed on this, y'all. I was sitting there like wondering. I asked God. This is why I always have a problem with religion. I asked God. I'm like, why is it that the evil keeps winning and the good keeps failing? Why is it that they have the quick wins? They're out here hurting people, and the good has to fight like hell just to get one of them behind bars. How is this a place that you created, God, with all this evil, and you don't make them pay for shit? You make it so it's so hard to get them off this planet. And good takes forever for anything to actually turn over and be good. Good people are trying to put pedophiles behind bars. And these evil people are doing everything they can to hide it. And evil keeps winning in a place that God supposedly created. It just doesn't make sense. I ask this question on a daily. I ain't got no answers just yet. But I ask it on a daily. Maybe one day I'll get an answer. But the answer I keep getting inside by researching is that evil's gonna win, because evil automatically works. People who are good won't do shit to evil. They cower to it. We won't do the things that evil people will do. Therefore, they win because we cower to it. I started to look at this country from a bird's eye view. We already don't talk many a times about how our government and our politicians sent our jobs overseas and made us basically poorer society, a more dependent society. But every month we keep on looking at these job numbers and, what does it mean? And we hear it so often. I wanted to dive into it. Like, what does 4.4% unemployment actually mean to me and you and to others? How many Americans are 4.4%? And it shocked the fuck out of me to find out that unemployment rate does not measure all Americans. It only measures the labor force. Okay. And when we talk about the labor force, let's just break it down. That the US population is around 335, somewhere in there, 340, something like that, million Americans. Not all of us are working. Some of us are still on Similac, and some of us are on diapers as adults. But adults that are like 16 plus are about 265 million. Out of that, the labor force is around 170 million. So when they say that the unemployment rate is at 4.4%, they're literally talking about 7.5 million to 8 million people are out of a job. They're not employed. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, because I'm an avid solutionist. I don't know if you guys are too, but I'm an avid solutionist. I'm thinking like 8 million jobs is the people that, the 4.4%. We can't get that down, to like maybe 1 million people. I mean, come on, we can do this. So I had to dig into history, into the recesses of the internet and books and all kinds of shit. I was diving deep to find this shit out there. And I realized there was a time in history where we actually brought the unemployment down really fucking low, where we provided as a country around 7 to 8 million jobs for American citizens. Yeah. Shocked the fuck out of me. Now, we all kind of know, if we've been paying attention to me or any other content creators, that around after the World War II, it was not even after World War II, actually after the stock crash, around 1933-ish or somewhere around there. That's when we created the program, the unemployment type program, right? That's when we had so many millions of us, just a stock crash, we were unemployed. That's when you see those pictures and videos of even white little boys and girls and parents crawling, like in New York and others, crawling over trash cans, trying to find leftover food. Go back and look at that shit if you don't believe me, if you haven't seen it. I don't know what people's definition or their recesses or their data on what they know about the history. I don't know what's in your hard drive. But going back into those days, people were literally crawling. And because you saw white people doing it, I mean, other people weren't. It's just that they had the cameras. You know what I'm saying? And they was caring about the white people, not anybody else. So you saw them crashing, and going around and open up trash cans and eating out of trash cans like third world country in the United States because of the stock crash. Never mind the fact that it was rich people that fucked us over to have the stock crash to begin with. And while we went through it, they were still rich. We were the ones suffering because of their fuck up. Just like the housing situation where Bush did. Again, rich people made out like bandits. Poor people were dying left and right. No health care. It was all kinds of madness. We always suffer from the riches of other people trying to be greedy and fucking everything up. Every generation we have something like that. Donald Trump is greedy as fuck right now, trying to take up other people's property and resources, which will end up effing our lives up, the average everyday people and poor people. But when you look at this 4.4%, which they recently came out, that roughly means around 7 to 8 million people are unemployed. Around 1933 to 35, somewhere around there, they created that unemployment situation. And they started giving it only to white people. So that meant that people of color and black people, all those people were not included. So they were scavenging, trying to make life happen, making $1 out of 15 cents. And that went on for not just years, decades, without helping people of color and others in this country outside of white people. Yep. And they didn't call it anything other than, it made it seem like it was something positive for helping those who deserve it. But the moment it became available to people of color, entitlement programs, that's what it was called. Because they ended up giving jobs to white people, not to black and people of color. And then they wanted to take away the unemployment because they tried to make it entitlement. But all they did was create a different type of entitlement for white people. Anybody ever heard of something called the Works Progress Administration, the WPA? Started in 1935. It's crazy how in 1933-35 they created unemployment to give the people who just were down on their luck, white people. Then they created the Works Progress Administration, WPA. That employed around 8.5 million Americans from 1935 to 1943. Didn't I tell you that we roughly have 7.5 to 8 million people unemployed right now? If this program had stayed, they would be employed. You start to question things like when they say all the time, they make these stereotypes and they say about people that are welfare babies, or all these different terms they make about welfare and unemployment and entitlement programs, and people are lazy and all these different things. They gave those programs to white people and didn't call it that. But when they gave it to other people, they started calling it that, while at the same time creating the WPA between 1935 to 1943. Now, to mind you, people of color didn't get a chance to get into this to 1968. So welfare started, and then they gave them jobs too that they literally did not give people of color. So free money and government jobs push white people back up while everybody else went through the Great Depression by themselves. They just had to fend for themselves. Fucked up, right? They created a WPA. What did the WPA do? They built roads, bridges, schools, libraries, hospitals. They employed teachers, writers, artists. Did you know that if you go on a hiking trail in your state, not a brand new one, that's been there for a while, you wonder who built these mountain trails that go everywhere, that you have so much fun. In LA, we have so many of them going up and down the mountains. They've been there forever. Do you know when they fucking started? 1935 to 1943. They gave them jobs to build those things. The poor, in which black and brown and others could not work. It was jobs given of government money. Black people who were working in any way, shape, or form, paying taxes, were paying white people to do jobs, living wage, mind you, that they could buy homes and property, while black and brown worked underpaid and had to work in restaurants and country clubs and all that, all while being told they're worthless, that they're lazy, while these people were getting free jobs. With people of color's money. White people too. But they were the only ones who partake in it. From 1935 to 1943. 8.5 million jobs. And those 8.5 million were all white. They hired artists in certain areas where you'll go around and you'll see like these paintings and stuff in these museums and things of nature, and they weren't like real like big artists that you may see murals in different places that are old. Yeah, they paid people to just make art, just to give them jobs. They took our government money to give them jobs, to write stuff. Here, write this and we'll pay you. Engineers, clerk. These people created, and maps. They would hire people to draw maps just so they can pay them, white people, they can give them jobs and opportunities. Oh, and also historical records. If you had something about history, whether it was whitewashed or real, they can go and write stuff and the government would pay for it. Black people and people of color not included. It pisses you off when people always try to compare today. You just got to work hard to get what you want. Fuck you. From the bottom of my toes all the way through my spirit and out my mouth. Fuck you. Received free money from my ancestors, free labor from my ancestors, and sit here and talk shit like you deserve more because you don't know your history. During the Great Depression, my people had to deal with it. Your people got free jobs, free land, opportunities. And today, not just about my people, all people is what I talk about. They want to provide these same types of programs today for all people because just doing it for white people is not acceptable. You heard me. White people today who don't have jobs don't have them because they can't just give it to white people anymore. If they could, they would. And that's what Donald Trump is on. That's what this whole Trumpian bullshit's about. Is to not feel bad about the white shit they did back in the day, the evil shit they did in the day. Matter of fact, let's just bring it back. Don't feel guilty. This is what we're supposed to do. Hence, giving white men and women jobs in the White House who are not qualified. It's just the DEI program for white people. But when they call it DEI for white people, it's called merit. $8.5 million people receive jobs. So today, with our unemployment, did you understand that because these programs existed, They worked. They helped us get out of the recession. Because why not? Why wouldn't the government work for the people when the people have worked for the government? And when billionaires fuck up the economy, millionaires, multimillionaires fuck up the economy by being greedy, they should pay, not the average person that did nothing to do it. Majority of Americans weren't even in the stock market. This is rich people fucking up our country. And every chance rich people get to fuck up our country so that they can keep the money, they do. And the American people receive the brunt of their fuck up. And while you're having to go through welfare, unemployment, they're talking shit about you while they're the ones who caused it. They put a stigma on the way your life goes when they caused the fucking problem. You had nothing to do with it. Most Americans aren't even in the stock market. It was their greed to fuck you over and make you pay for shit that you couldn't afford. And when it blew up, it's your fault. Crazy thing. They created not only one program, but multiple. I told you about one that was the WPA from 1935 to 1943. There was 8.5 million jobs. They also created the Civilian Conservation Corps, named the CCC. Now that was pretty much for young white men only, from 1933 to 1942. 3 million white men worked to the forest. What's it called? Reforestation or something like that. I always mess up that word. And conservation of the forest. They built national parks. They built the dams, flood control, and soil restoration for low-income, unemployed white folk. They offered housing, food, and pay included, while people of color just starved it out, raised chickens, ate dirt, whatever the fuck they had to do. They had to strive to do their damn best while they were giving unemployed, poor white people opportunities. This one was for men mostly. I don't think women were even included in this. The other men and women were included in. That's 2 programs. It's crazy how conservatives or will even accept to give these entitlement programs to white people. It's crazy, huh? They also created the PWA, Public Works Administration, from 1933, to 1943. They funded large infrastructure projects like Hoover Dam, the bridges, airports, hospitals. They worked through like private contractors. So the government didn't hire people. They gave people, these private companies, large sums of money to hire white people to create these things. They undergirded them again with a financial backing, a foundation, while leaving people of color on their fucking own. These are 3 programs I'm telling you about. 8.5 million people were employed. 3 million men employed. I don't have the numbers for the Public Works the WPA, Public Works Administration, but it lasted for almost 10 or 11 years or something like that. Yeah, up until the war. Then the war in 1944, around there. Was it 1941, whatever it is? It worked up into 1941, 42 for these things around that era. That's when they started giving them jobs to build war shit. And that helped black and white people. But during the recession, the Great Recession, undergirded white people to give them opportunities and jobs with government money, government funds. And the only reason they ended is because the war, for one, And black and brown people were fighting to be a part of it. And they had it. They said, no way. No way. We'd rather end it than be fair to people of color. And they ended them. Now, the reason why I say this is that that's the racism aspect of it. But my question really is, that's just the history. Why are we doing it for American citizens today? Do you understand that we can still do these programs? They worked back then. They worked like gangbusters. They were so good, they didn't really want to end them. They just had more hate for people of color. They worked fabulously. So why can't we implement those today? That was over 11 million jobs. We literally have unemployment at 7.5 to 8 million. There's a solution. The government can bring back the WPA, the Works Progress Administration, and we would have no problem with unemployment. We'd have people doing things like helping with the bridges and roads and schools and hospitals and rewriting things and education. We would pick that back up. Hey, it works. If they had the money back then when we were in a fucking recession, you telling me we don't have the money now? Of course we do. What's going to trip you out, not all of us, because we understand what's going on, is the billionaires. So we're going to trip you out of this whole situation. Is that if we were to give these 7 to 8 million people that are unemployed work for, these, let's say that WPA, working for, or even find a new version of all these, WPA, helping with bridges and roads and things that we have going on and all these different things. If we offer that, and let's say a minimum of each American receiving $50,000, that is literally $350 to $400 billion annually. Many people act like that's going to be, we can't afford that. Bullshit. We can't afford that. Because even creating those jobs, think about the taxes they have to pay that would go into the accounts, go into the government, that would help pay for many other things. But that would help us in a tremendous way. But you know why this does not work? And it's heartbreaking for some if you care about people. It's because corporations don't want the competition. Corporations, they thrive on you having a fucked up life. You ever wonder why you feel when you get a job, you're afraid to lose that job? You ever wonder, like, people tell you, you better get another job before you try and get another job, because you don't want to be in that little limbo where you have no job. You know why that exists? That area in life where it seems like there's no jobs available when there actually are. That's because billionaires and corporations are one of the major reasons why those programs ended, because they need American citizens, a percentage of us, 7 to 8 million of us, wanting them, not thriving, but begging for them. That's how they keep their power. That's how they pay you less than what you're actually worth. If the government gave us all $50,000 a year jobs for the $7 to $8 million, say 8 million people ain't working, then where would these corporations find, seasonal workers to pay barely shit to live on? Where would they be able to where would they have these extra people that they can bring in and then talk shit about them being immigrants but hiring them for like 4-day labor and then kicking them to the curb. How can that happen? It is because of billionaires, multimillionaires, hiring people for a little bit of nothing. The reason why we don't have unemployment really low. It's designed that way. And you know what's so fucked up about that? Is that this society tries to make poor people feel like they're lazy. And people looking for jobs feel like they're just not worthy. When if we gave a damn about our American citizens, we would see that they're hurting, and then we would create something like the WPA so that we can ease the pain. But Democrats, Republicans, independents, and that includes you, Bernie Sanders, you guys don't want it. Because if you did, you'd be fighting for it. I haven't heard one of you motherfuckers say one word about this system is designed to keep people down on purpose. These jobs going away on purpose. These jobs never coming back on purpose while they sit here and have you buying their products and services, knowing that they could create jobs, not them, the government, our own money could create jobs for these American citizens to lower the unemployment rate for good. And it's crazy. They only did it when the country was so racist that only white people could do it. But now that it's not that way, even though they're trying to go back to that way, they would have a shitstorm if they created their program and only gave it to poor white people and left people of color out. The dynamic of this country's changed. So when you look into the history of this country, you start to see more and more of how this country chooses to fuck its citizenry. The humans, the citizens in this country are fucked on purpose. Your life is the way it is because billionaires make deals with governments to basically fuck you on purpose while raising a flag and calling it patriotic. I'd like you to look that stuff up. Learn about these programs. Corporations on purpose. This is a crazy thing too that fucks me up. Corporations receive low taxes. They don't have to pay taxes. They made Amazon one year made $1 trillion or some shit in profit and had to pay zero taxes. And then they'll tell you, well, we paid what's it called? The taxes for like people who are working. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, that's literally you paying your taxes. You as an American citizen that works for, let's say, Amazon, employment tax, you pay taxes, but they don't pay that right to the government. All the taxes that you pay go into like some little fund throughout the year. And at the end of the year, the taxes they have to pay, they pay to the government. Your state, your local, your federal, it all goes to the government. And they'll say, oh, we pay payroll tax. It's like, that's my fucking money going to the fucking government. You didn't pay shit. You just didn't steal our tax money. You put it into account, made interest on it, and then at the end of the year, you gave them the principal and kept the fucking interest. How the fuck is that doing right by your people? I'm pulling the curtain off of this motherfucking Wizard of Oz bullshit. These people keep on acting like they're doing something for you. Every chance they get, they're sticking it to you. We always talking about poor people on welfare and programs and things of that nature. And businesses, they receive federal, state, local subsidies to the amount of $600 billion so more per year. This doesn't include like the grants they get and other incentives and bailouts. This doesn't include this. This is like a guaranteed 600 or so billion dollars in welfare they call subsidies. And American citizens are trying to get food. And these fools are getting millions and hundreds of billions of dollars to invest in overseas, to buy back stocks, and to lie about creating jobs. And they don't have to pay this shit back. Free money. Yet they will bitch about you receiving $140 fucking check to feed your family while you're working a 40 an hour a week job, while that job underpays you, and call you lazy when you got 4 jobs and still have to get welfare. Not of your fault. It's because the billionaires fuck you over. Pay you shit. They don't pay you the living wage. They should. They're fighting so that you don't get $15 an hour. How are Americans accepting this shit? How do we wake up every day and be like, this is okay? If they created that one program that created 8 million jobs in 1933, there are more humans on this planet right now than it was in 1933. Our population has exploded from back then. And even though it's exploded, unemployment, 8 million, 7.5 to 8 million. You create one program. And this thing that kills me about this, they bitch and moan about you, not you, but specifically, but American citizens receiving welfare. But the point of the matter is, you're on welfare because they want that to be. Do you understand? The businesses want you on welfare. At the same time, they're calling you lazy for being on it. They want you on welfare because they don't want these programs to come alive. Because these programs come alive, it forces them, even though it's only 8 million people, and we got over 170-something million people with jobs, it kind of forces them to start giving people $50,000 a year. Or whatever the government decides. And they want to give you 20. They want to give you 35. They want you to be happy with 40. Like I said earlier, you ever wonder, no matter what age you are, how you felt like, I got this job, I don't want to quit because it's going to be hard to get. They created that desert. That feeling that you have to not quit a job before you have another one, they created that on purpose. These people have studied, have figured out the human behavior, and decided to make Americans this way. Why? Because they pay the government. They pay these politicians. They lobby so that they don't create programs, and they call it socialism so that you want to run away from it. But in all honesty, it's not socialism. It is capitalism. It's only called socialism because people of color can partake in it. When it was done for white people in the 30s, all the way up to 1943 and 44, that shit was called capitalism and helping out our people. They can help out American citizens right the fuck now. Black, white, Latin, and different. They choose not to because black people will get it. Brown people will get it too because they can't separate that. So poor white people have to suffer alongside the rest of us until they can figure out a way they can bring racism back. And Donald Trump has done just that. That's why that one guy said he's a 1 in a million time person to come back. We've never had somebody like this in a long, long time because Donald Trump is bringing racism back. So much so that racist white people are out here trying to act like they're Steve Millers. It was Steve Bannon who said it. The Steve Millers, Stephen Miller, all of them racist as fuck. And they got people who say they aren't racist supporting them. And you wonder why they support them. I did a deep dive today on why people who say they aren't racist support racists. They feel guilty about what happened to their ancestors. And they're tired of taking the brunt of what their ancestors did. And they want that to go away. And they don't feel like it's going to ever go away unless we put people of color back in their place. Put them back there to make them move out our way, and we'll feel good about ourselves again. Instead of going through it so that we'll never have to go through it again, admitting it and saying it was bad and saying, hey, let's do whatever, reparations, let's do this, let's do that. No, instead of going forward and trying to make it a better world, they want to go backwards and forget it, and they want you to forget it, and they want racism to come back so that you think of it as like, hey, we tried. This is just our nature. Fuck it. We don't care. Inward, inward, inward. Now I feel free. I don't have to change. See, change is the problem. They don't want to change. Change is like putting a knife into their heart. Why the fuck do I have to change? I don't like these N words. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to spray it. And now Donald Trump is giving me a reason to say it out loud and be proud. I studied something about change. And what I learned about change is that people will not change if it causes them pain. Even if it causes them joy, oftentimes they still won't change. Why? Because the thing that they've attached themselves to is their identity. And nobody wants to change their identity. The hard part that people don't want to understand is that these racist white people, this is not against their best interest. What Donald Trump and all these racist people are doing are allowing them, like what we used to say about gay people back in the day. Nothing negative, gay people. Let me just get to that point before you go all crazy. I know some gay people look like, what this nigga about to say? What you saying? Relax, at ease. Coming out the closet. These racist people are finally feeling free to come out the closet. They've always felt this way. They want racism back. They want to do disrespectful shit to black people. They want to kill us, harm us, rape us, beat us, whatever their heart fucking desires. They've been hiding it because society wouldn't accept it. And Donald Trump gives them the acceptance. The people he surrounds himself gives them the acceptance. When they see these Latin people getting killed and that one white woman getting killed, they accept it. Why? Because she's a nigger lover. She's one of these gay people. She's one of these people that we don't like. Let them unalive somebody like Charlie Kirk's wife. Oh, they would flip the fuck out. They would get insane. The fuck? Just like they did with Charlie Kirk. Because that's one of their own. That's somebody who believes like they believe. That's somebody who gives them freedom to say what they want to say. All this time we thought hearts had changed. They didn't change. They were just waiting for, like Steve Bannon said, their savior to come out to let them be who they are. These animals are still the same animal. They've been in hiding. And they have tired, sick and tired, I might add, of hibernating. But see, a vast amount of Americans don't want to accept this, of all races, colors, and creeds. And that's why many of them with the that are gathering up these Latin people are in masks. See, I want to tell you something. You should worry even more when these white men take their mask off. That's when you should worry. Because when these white people that are gathering up these hunting these people of color, mostly Latin people, when they take their mask off, it's highly acceptable at that point. The American citizenry has already accepted it and decided that there's no repercussions for their actions. At that point in time, America is 100% fucked. Ain't no going back. The moment they can take their mask off and no repercussions, it's over. Everything that we fought for, everything Martin Luther King fought for, Medgar Evers, and others fought for are over. And that's their point. Why do you think they're taking black people down from museums? Why do you think they're attacking the black museums? Why aren't they attacking like other museums that are out in this country? There are Asian museums out here. There are Jewish museums out here. They're attacking the black museum. Why? Because it makes people understand how hateful these people were. If you gave them carte blanche, they would make slavery look like they did us a favor. And that's what they want to push. We taught y'all something. Obedience. Respect. We taught y'all how to be civilized. You were apes before. They want to do everything they can to whitewash this shit, to make it whatever the fuck they wanted to make, and that everybody else has to accept the bullshit that they spew. They taking down pictures. They taking out books that tell the truth. And it appears we have no recourse. We can't stop it. So all this racist, sexist, xenophobic, anti-gay and trans, all that shit's all them. They want this country to be whatever they find to be appropriate. The party of small government is gigantic government. How can you ever vote for people who went the opposite way of everything they said they believed in for decades, centuries even? I wouldn't say centuries, maybe a century. It's crazy. And here we are fighting, trying to make life better for ourselves. And evil keeps winning. When I read about that change and I realized that people are afraid of it more than they want to run to it, they rather accept the status quo because they don't know what stands on the other side of change. It's the reason why Martin Luther King and all the others, we benefited after they were dead, because it took us that long to accept and understand the change that they actually spent their whole life fighting for. They never got a chance to witness that transformation. They spent their generation fighting and dying for us, and we benefited from them. And then we had no more fighters for civil rights the way they did. We had no originators. We had a bunch of imitators. And when these people learned how Martin Luther King and others moved us forward, and everybody else keeps doing the exact same thing instead of progressing to something different, they already know your game plan. They know how to shut it down. They know how to kill it. And you're pretty much shot down before you start. Black Lives Matter was growing. They knew how to shut that down. Throw in some dissent. They did it to Martin Luther King. They did it to Malcolm X. They did it to all of them. And it worked fabulously. So it meant that we had to change up the game and not do the same so that they can kind of figure out what we're doing. We never had a leader to do it. Our leaders followed Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. None of them became so creative they created their own thing. And so the movement is dying. You see these racist people, they're rising. They're happy about the white male becoming dominant again. Hateful, evil, but somehow loved. And where are the leaders fighting for American citizens? We're asking the Democrat Party to fight for them. But it's crazy how we didn't elect them to fight for us. The smaller percentages, like the high percentage of black people and the smaller percentage of white people and others who fought for the right thing, the majority of most races did not. It makes you wonder. It's like, what are we fighting for? If we can't get on the same plane, then each little weird faction is going to have its rule. My question is, what's the next group of people that are going to lead this country? Are they going to lead us toward prosperity or toward the opposite direction? Because I really don't know. It seems like this country is so fickle that it just wants to vote for destruction. They want to tear down the system. But just like any thing in life, if you don't have a plan on how to build a new one and you tear down the one that works, it's just pure chaos. Keep telling people you want to build something, you want something to be torn down like the old way of doing things, then you have to create a new way to replace it. If you don't have a new way, you're just destroying the shit that people fought for just for you to have the life you have now. No plan and destruction is the end, not the beginning. So I fight, and I wake up every day trying my best to figure out how we going to survive this. And I'm not trying to be alarmist. I'm serious. The shit that Donald Trump is doing, people keep on playing like this shit's a game. It ain't no fucking game. This man's talking about bombing a NATO country. You gotta understand, that's World War III. And they're doing this insane racist white bravado bullshit. Like nobody's gonna fuck with us, but they will. They already sent military from other countries to be there so that they can protect this country from Donald Trump, from America, you and me, because this bitch represents us. How do you think we're going to be perceived as Americans going to France, going to any other country with this dipshit leading it? How do you think they look at us? We overall, in their minds, we elected this dipshit. Not enough of people who think like us got out and voted to defeat him. We could have, but we didn't. So he represents us on a global scale. And no matter how much we hate, deplore, and wish some demon would take his ass back to whatever fucking hell he came from, the rest of the world, we're not safe in. Because of him. He's talking about making it safe. He made it worse. I dare any of y'all go to another country right now and see how you get treated. They hate us. That doesn't make us strong. That makes us a fucking target. There's nothing we can do about it as citizens, except for, if you believe in a God, pray. Because no matter what solutions we come up with, it's going to take us to actually want to implement them. And it's hard. It's what I was asking earlier today. I was like, man, how in the world are we going to win when we can't get together and come up with a solution that fucking everybody wants to jump on? It made me feel like what Martin Luther King and all of them had to be going through. It's like, holy shit, man, this is a weight on your shoulders to try and provide solutions for people who won't fight for themselves. Everything I said that was going to happen from Project 25, not because I'm like some I'm closer to Jesus or some shit. No, I literally read, I paid attention to history. Then I told people over a year or so ago, maybe 2 years now, what the plan was. And everything I said has come to fucking fruition. I'm not a prophet. All I did was read, study history, and how it came about, the other falls in history, the dictatorships from having a democracy going straight into fucking authoritarianism, and you start to realize the exact same things are happening. Donald Trump and his minions are literally putting up notes, posters at their podiums and different things. These posters are in English, but they come from Hitler. The exact wording, but in German as Hitler. And it drives me nuts. And I sit there and think, what am I doing? If we aren't changing anything, then every man should be, a man and woman should be for themselves. Because it's like, we got to do something. I can't do this. We have to do this. This is a we thing. It's not a me thing. And when you start to see, we got too many people in the news media. Like I got tired of watching today. It was one tragic thing after another, what Donald Trump is doing. And I'm sitting there like, what are we doing, America? We're just waking up and reporting on the shit. What are we doing to defeat it? There are a fucking 100,000 fucking fires right now with this man. And America's fucking burning. And we're all talking about them and just reporting them, and people are making their little money. Guess what's happening today? Guess what's happening today? Guess what happened today? What are we going to do about it? Oh, nothing. I'm just reporting it to you. I just made my money. I'm going to go to sleep, wake back up, and say the same shit over again. You're going to solve nothing? No. What am I going to solve? I'm just going to tell you about it. Give me some money, and then I'm going to leave. What the fuck are you going to do about it? You're not even offering opportunities and solutions yourself. You're just reporting shit you saw. I want solutions. I'm tired of just having fucking talking sessions. These programs that help the unemployed. I'm not unemployed. I still care about people who are. It ain't a me thing. It's a we thing. I'm like, this unemployment program sounds fucking great. Why the fuck isn't it not real right now for all people? Should have learned in the past. You did it for all white people. It worked like gangbusters. It made the economy bounce back from a recession. So you should do it now to help people bounce back from these high ass food prices, unemployment, and no health care. Why is it so hard to tell this fucking country to give a fuck about its citizens? These programs work, ladies and gentlemen. They still have them in some way, shape, or form. They have them for the military. Some of these programs are in the military. Not the exact name. It's just the fact that you're in the military and these things are happening. But these programs could exist today. You don't have to have all three. Just have one. One of them provided 8.5 million. We have 7 to 8 million unemployed. Under that amount. And it's like, hey, we figured out a solution. They don't care. And if American citizens don't get up in a fucking uproar and upset about this shit and ask their congressmen and women to do it, it ain't gonna happen. How about you? I get fed up. I love my mutuals. I'm not talking about them. I love everybody who's doing their thing. But I get fed up, y'all. My ceiling is like, when are we gonna solve this shit? When are we gonna try and solve it? When are we gonna throw some kind of strategy in? Reporting on it is, what does that do for me? It shows me there's a problem. then how do we fix it? If the answer is we can't do nothing, then why the fuck are we reporting on something that we ain't gonna do nothing about? Why even open our mouths if we ain't trying to fix it? You might as well just shut the fuck up. Say, shut up, man. Why are you talking about it if you ain't gonna do nothing about it? You ain't gonna provide a solution. Why the fuck are you talking about it? I worked that way my entire life in business. If you're gonna come to me and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this and the other, if you didn't come with me a solution, get the fuck out, figure out 1 or 2 solutions, then bring me the fucking problem with 2 or 3 solutions. Because you're doing the job. You know it would work to fix it. My job's over here. I fix problems on my side all the fucking time. You got a problem? Bring it to me, but at least have 1, 2, maybe 3 solutions I can work with. I can't think about your job's problems if you don't give me a solution to them. Either you love the problem or you really want a solution. If you felt the nerve to come tell me, yo, it's a problem, man. I'm doing this and I'm messing around getting paper cuts. We need to do this. We need to do something about it. What are the things we need to do? But if you're in love with the problem and have no solution, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear your problem. It ain't working to fix anything. That's another thing I learned. People just love to just have camaraderie. Oh, I'm having a problem. I'm having a problem too. And y'all problem buddies. Y'all friends over problems. Everybody got them. Like, hey, what's going on, man? Man, I don't know, man. Things ain't going right. Nigga, you called me just to talk about a problem. You ain't never called me to say, hey, man, had a great day. I'm your problem buddy. Never a solution to be had. Every time he calls, he got the same fucking problem. They're in love with the problem, and they're in love with camaraderie around the problem, but can't fix it for shit. Don't want to fix it because they're too much in love with the fucking problem. You realize if you only got problem friends, your life is a fucking problem. And you wonder, why am I not succeeding? Because you hang around with people with fucking problems that don't want to solve them. That's who you are. That's what you thrive off of. Start thriving off of solutions and your life starts to take a different trajectory. But it's hard to tell people to stop being who they were trained to be. Yeah, I heard about that $3 meal shit. Like I said, I wasn't even going to talk about any of this shit today because it's just stupid. And nobody going to eat off a fucking $3 meal. I don't know where anybody would get a $3 meal from. Even when people talk about like a meal that you can get, it'd be a fast food meal and it'd be like a $5 deal or something. But $3, I ain't never heard of such. It tells you how disconnected they are from reality. Who told them there was a $3 meal? Because you know they ain't eating $3 meals. They eating $300 meals for snacks. I'm just saying, for $3 a meal, if you went and got, food from a store, and let's say you bought carnitas, right? Just the meat itself, that shit's gonna cost you about $12, $15, what the fuck it is, right? And then, you say you bought tortillas, that's gonna be another $3 or $4. If you can make 6 or 7 meals with that bitch, yeah, it's $3. That's it. And that'll just be that burrito or whatever you make, taco. That's going to be it. Any extra sides to it is going to push this shit over $5 or $7 a meal. Like I said, these things are just stupid. I don't even want to entertain them no more. I'm like, why am I just dealing with stupidity? What can we do to fix stuff? Because this stupidity shit is like calling out dumb people. It's just, it gets old after a while. You really want solutions to stuff. You really want to like say, you know what? Here's the bullshit. Now, how do we fix it? Not necessarily them. Like for us, like what is going on with us? And we can't do it for everybody, but what's going on with us? What kind of problems are we having? How can we help each other? In this room, people may be having problems. Put them in the comment section and see if anybody wants to help. You know what I'm saying? That it could just start out that small. Don't have to be big. If you got a problem, throw it in the comment section. Don't be afraid to throw your problem in there. If somebody sees it and reads it, even if it's you need a prayer for you, even if it's you got to GoFundMe because something happened, somebody passed away, or you got a problem you got to take care of, throw it in the comment section. Start caring on people. Start loving on people. Maybe we'll start having a better country. But I mean, that's the smallest thing that we can do to start out with. And maybe if we foster that type of mentality in this room, we'll start changing lives little by little. Maybe not start so big, just start small. Even if it's just a compliment you want to give somebody. Say something good about somebody in the room. Know how they do when you go to some of those positive sessions. I don't know what they call them. They're different things, and not Reiki, but other things. Well, they'll say, even church too, they'll be like, to the person to the left of you, say something good about it. The person that commented below you, say something good about them. I'll wait. Say something good about them. If you don't know them or know them, just say something good about an individual, period. Just exercise that. What's up, Hugh Hutchinson? I know it's delayed, so I'm going to wait around to see how many people take part in just sharing positive messages to the people that they commented right below. Bees knees, $3 million, $3 meal is my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? He wish you could put that in there. Said we do that in this room. I know y'all do. I'm just saying I want to see it now. Y'all do it all the time in my rooms. But I'm just saying, like right now, just throw stuff in there. Just put that ray of light in the room because the world needs it. Yeah, they need people like y'all, big time. I get tired of seeing all this. It just never seems like anybody has a solution. Everybody just want to report on the problem. And I'm starting to have a solution to this thing, and I've been working on it and trying to figure it out. But after learning about how this country really doesn't care about its citizens, that programs were actually created to help white people back in the day, I'm like, okay, we're not racist like that anymore. So let's create programs for all Americans who are unemployed. Let's not talk shit about them. Let's not make them feel bad because they don't have it. Let's not make them feel like losers like these billionaires want them to do. Let's offer them jobs if they're employable, like if there's not, they may be disabled or whatever, they can't work. That's a whole different thing. But if they can work and they're looking for work and there's just no jobs, hey, government, we need to start these programs back up that help people get jobs, man. We can work on this poverty shit. We got to stop letting these billionaires depict how the rest of us are going to live. And it's not socialism. You did it for white people in the 30s and did not call it socialism. Quit calling it that just because black and people of color want to partake in it along with white people. Can we get over this racism shit already? And doing something like this is one step toward it. I see I love this room. Love it. Love to see that. Uh, oh, that's nice. I'm happy to see that you were here. I love that. Yeah, getting rich. Yeah, I guess. I just get tired. I mean, sometimes I just get like you get overloaded with a bunch of crap that you just sit there and be like, man, it's just too much. Just way too much crap going on. And you try your best to kind of like, you know, educate. Like today, we talked about these programs and how they can help people, all people. Um, Too many people are going without health insurance. I seen that today. Like I said, there was so many things just coming at me that I was just so fed up, y'all. So fed up. It just pissed me off. I mean, these people are losing health care and people talking about their lives are just, um, you know, uprooted. And one lady had diabetes and she's not covered. I'm like, how's she gonna get her insulin? It's just fucked up. And these people are doing it. And this is a white lady. It's not like it's a race thing, but I'm just saying it's a white lady because these people are racist and they don't care about their own getting hurt by this. It's just crazy. Yeah, Vera, I saw that with Jasmine Crockett, and she breaking down in tears. You want to know something else I saw? And y'all probably saw it, because I really haven't been in. Oh, that shit just popped in my head. Uh, I'm pretty sure you guys are savvy. You already got it. Let me look on my phone real quick. Um, it was on Substack, and Alice, if she's in the room, Alice Early. Don't know if she made. Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. I see you. I saw that link to that video. Oh damn. Oh, there you go. Hopefully I got it back. But about the young guy Sasha. Well, he's older now, but he was a kid, and there is video or audio specifically. Looks like there's video too. I haven't seen it yet. I just saw, but when he was a little kid, there's audio segments. You can go and find. Let's see if I got it in here. Is it in here? Yeah. It I can't tell you. I don't know if I can see it or not. No, you can't see that. But it is Outlaws of Chivalry. Don't worry, boys are hard to find. Part 1 of 2, I guess. 102. But there's audio links of this guy being interviewed. And you can't see the pictures, can you? You can't see these. Maybe I can work with it and make it focused and not me. The lights in the way. It's military, and he's a little kid. Now you can look at me and be out of focus. But yeah, check that out if you can. Oh, see if I can get the link. Is there a link? Anyway, I got that, and I didn't get a chance to hear what he had to say yet because I just got it today, Alice. Early, I got it from a link you sent. Open that up, then I opened up another one, and it had the audio, and it's like I don't know 7, 8 of them. One of the first one was like an hour and 41 minutes, so I got to do that after I go live. But it is insane about what I read, and he named names in the part that I read. I didn't hear him name it in the audio just yet. But there are boys too, and I would hope that the way they made it seem like it was not a lot of them were still alive. Like they unalived some of these kids from what they were talking about, and he names Donald Trump. I don't like again. I'm gonna go listen to it and judge it for myself. It's awful to listen to, Rude. Sasha Riley is the guy, exactly. Sasha Riley. Uh, it's sad what I read, and I don't know if I'll make it through reading it. I don't know if I'm gonna make it through reading it. Please pray for me to get a decent job so I can have a stable life. I have been handing out lots of resumes. Definitely pray for your bee's knees to get a good paying job, a living wage job, and maybe even higher above living wage. I am friendly and kind to everyone I meet. I hold doors open and help if I can because respect is earned. 100%. I believe that, Dennis. I open doors for people, say hi to people, give everybody respect. It's just simple, and I don't know, man. I oftentimes, you know, um, I had to do like a check on myself because I'm gonna give you like I was doing some like insight. You know what I'm saying? Trying to talk to people, like almost like therapy. And looking at my pluses and my minuses. And one of my minuses is I take and have my entire life, and it's not good, I guess, from what I gather. I got to learn how not to do that. Is that I take, that the statement of, be God like too seriously. And meaning that as I was doing this like self therapy and talking to, you know, this person about it, and I realized something that I didn't think I was doing this, but obviously I was, is that um, when I'm talking about providing solutions and when I'm talking about, doing the right thing, I think of like, what would God want me to do? I don't think about, let's say, like what Jesus want me to do. I think about what God want me to do. It's like, be God like, you know what I'm saying? And I take it seriously. And I think that that's the way we should do it. But from what I understand now, is that I am not trying to be God like, I'm trying to be God. And that to me was like, holy shit, what? How am I trying to be God? Because I'm trying to get outcomes that are left up to Him. And I'm like, that's what we all should be trying to do. I would think that's what we should be trying to do, but obviously that's not what I should be doing. So I had to really kind of think on I'm still thinking about it because I just found out today. I got to do some real soul searching about how, how I need to either pull back or change up a little bit because I don't want to do God. I don't want to be God. I just thought I was trying to be God like, not God Himself. And I want outcomes that I think that God would want. And I don't know. I don't know. I've always thought that my entire life since I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid and we went to black churches, of course, you know what I'm saying? But I was a latchkey kid. So my mom worked single parent, three kids. And so I had aunts and uncles that I would go to church with. And we had different, we had different varieties of, I didn't say Christians, but churches. I had Jehovah's Witnesses, one aunt. Baptist, Southern Baptist was one aunt. That was my step grandmother was Southern Baptist. Non-denominational was another aunt. So I was going everywhere, y'all. And in the '70s, early '80s, I don't know about how they are now, but man, churches were so like just mean. You go to a Southern Baptist and they would be shitting on a just a non-denominational non-denominational, yeah. They were like, make up your mind. It was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? I went to some Southern Baptist churches because I went to more than one. Depends on where we were at. And y'all, some of them Southern Baptist churches, you know, as a kid, this is what, and I probably told y'all this stuff, but as a kid, I remember my like my grandmother, step grandmother, whatever the hell it is. She's gone now, but she took me to this Baptist church, and the pastor was up there. And I don't been in church enough times to know the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And Psalms 23 was like the favorite verse, but the Book of Job and all these other things. A lot of y'all not, boy. I'm tearing up talking about it right now, just because it's funny as shit to me. But as a little kid, so inquisitive, and listening to what people were saying, what God's supposed to have me do, as a kid, I was always taking it literal. And so one was it would say, don't speak ill of your neighbor and treat your neighbor like you want to be treated. And I walk off the first steps of the church, and soon as these people were outside the church, I was a little kid. I step outside the church. Did you see Sister Johnson? How's she gonna come to church with her hair looking like that? Oh, and brother and sister and brother, whatever. Brother Mike, how you gonna wear white socks with a black suit? What is going on with these people? And I'm sitting there, I would tell my grandmother, step grandmother, I said, why are they sinning? Why as soon as they step out the church, it just said, God said, treat others like you want to be treated. And these people step on the church stoop. They ain't got 5 feet away from the church. And they already sinning. And they would get mad. My aunt, my grandmother-in-law, what the fuck she was, step grandmother, she would get mad. You know how they look at you, they're gonna smack the teeth out your mouth. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So I always had that like follow like rules, like you're supposed to follow them. I was so adamant about it. And I was in church one time that she took me to this Southern Baptist church. And you know how Southern Baptist church, if you ever been, how they preaching anything like that, and the pastor was all into it. You know, he said, "I want you guys to turn to the page to the book of Job." I said, "This fool said Job." I was a little kid. I said, "Grandma, he said Job. What is Job? What are you talking about?" He would say the wrong he would say the wrong thing. He pronounced everything wrong, yo. Everything wrong. I would say, Grandma, he don't know how to read. She'd be ready to slap my teeth out, yo. But he said, turn to the book of Job. And in the book of Job, it says, I was like, and then he said, when he said, like, and the twin brother's name was Esau. I said, Esau. My middle name is that twin brother's name, Esau. And I was like, he said my name wrong. What the hell is Esau? Boy, I was like, yo, why we listen to him? He can't read. How he interpreting Jesus and interpreting it wrong? He up in the pulpit speaking in gibberish. It was hilarious to me. I was like, man, speaking in gibberish. Turn to the book of Job. I'm like, man, this is funny. But and I took it literal, man. I took it literal. So I was like, I can't believe in him. He ain't God like. How you gonna be like God like can't even read? He ain't even trying to learn what the hell the Bible's talking about. Everything he says needs an interpretation. So he's speaking in hieroglyphics. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I used to be I used to be stupid as a kid. I'd go off. My grandmother would look at me, boy, if you don't shut up. And I'd be keep rolling two of my friends. You see, listen to him. It wouldn't even be my friends, it was like cousins. I sit there and be like, just going on and ripping this pastor. And I remember I forgot what I said to him, but I said something highly disrespectful. One time I'm like, "Are you gonna ever learn how to read?" Oh my goodness, boy. Cause I mean he never got better. I'm like, man, you need to take classes. I'm like third grade. I'm killing you with this right now. But this hell is reality. It really is. It really is. Uh, so yeah, I remember that growing up. I gotta laugh sometimes. I remember that growing up, but I took it very seriously, and that's why when I think of stuff and solutions, I really want people's lives to be better. And it's just not my job to make their lives better. Even though I feel like if I give people a solution, maybe they'll run toward the solution. Not because I get credit for it, because their life gets better. And that's my goal, but you know, I gotta rethink that. I gotta rethink that. But yeah, we always should be working on ourselves. And I'll be working on myself with that one because I've always been like that. And the only problem with having that type of mentality is that you always are hurt because people aren't taking heed, trying to solve the problem. You're like, I'm giving them a solution. They're like, fuck it. I'm like, but it's not my job to do that. So I gotta learn. So whatever you got going on in life, and you may feel like it, look deeper, and you might find a solution. Maybe just you tweaking yourself a little bit and working on yourself. And that's what I'm always working on myself to be better. Um, Today, not talking about the news took me a break away from the insanity, um, and talking about humanity and how we can change life. Um, it's not getting any better, ladies and gentlemen. The only people going to change the world that we live in right now is us. And if the people don't unite, because I want you to understand something, these evil, um, how can I say, uh, these people who intend to put evil, they may not be evil people, but their intent is they're winning. They're winning because they're unified around this feeling of not being adequate in the world, not accepting them for being supreme. That we've pulled the mask off of white supremacy and found out that nobody's supreme. And those people who always call themselves supreme are mostly inferior. So when they have been shown, pull the mask off and said, hey, dude, you're an idiot. You're not supreme to anything. I know cows that are smarter than you. I know harder workers who can barely, walk on their own. And that makes them feel like, holy shit, why am I here if I'm not supposed to be the dominant one? I'm the supreme one. And so we allow these racist people to harm people with impunity. It's not going to change until the majority of us say we're tired of these racist ass white men fucking our lives up just so they can feel better. It's not, this country, this world is not here so that white people can feel good. It's here so that all people can feel good, not just white racist men. Until we stop prioritizing them, it ain't changing. All people should have opportunity. Everybody who can shine should shine. Whatever effort you put into something, you shall reap that reward. It shouldn't be people jumping in front of you because they have the perplexion of, progress. They have the work ethic and actual merit for that. But they even hijack merit to mean white males who don't deserve shit. Pete Hegseth. White women who don't deserve shit, even though she has more of an education than Pete Hegseth. Pam Bondi shouldn't be where she's at. Anybody that's close proximity that chases white power and wants to get close to it, but will get spat out at some time, like cockeyed Kash Patel, thinking that he's in and he's got the hatred of his own race and the love of whiteness so much that they're going to keep him around. They would chew his ass and spit him up when it's time to get rid of the people who are of color. And you ask them, why can't they see it? And one of the things that came to mind today, they see it. They see it. They can't help but see it. But they're chasing proximity to power, not respect. Whatever they got to do to get close to power so that they can have a nice life and their family can have a nice life, even if it's temporary, it's better than never having it. If you look for people's motivation, then you'll understand where they stand. I want goodness for all people. So you understand where I stand when I come up with my solutions. It helps all people. I want black people to have opportunities that they're not giving. You see, when I create stuff specifically for black people, it's because they've been left out of that particular arena. Whether it be investing, whether it be, technology, they've been left out on purpose. It doesn't benefit me to help all people when it's an area where only black people receive less of. You see what I'm saying? It's like going to the problem and trying to solve it so that everybody eats, not just one culture. But anyway, you got a lot of these. I saw things, and I think I just saw Vera talk about it or whatever. But a lot of these businesses are going out of business, from what I've been hearing and reading. No specific race, just people who are not wealthy that are trying their best to make stuff work, and things are drying up, and they're losing their businesses. Minnesota's, a lot of businesses are closing down. A lot of schools are now teaching their kids like it was COVID again, because they don't want them to leave the house and be in trouble with the Gestapo. Bees knees, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Whether I don't know how many ads they put in throughout my stuff. I have no clue. I have any control over it, but I hope I do. I should if they got commercials in them. But I'm sorry that you're getting a lot of them because I don't make that decision. I can't hamper it. Um, Exactly. Who says that? Them or the MKJS? No one is free. I love that. Until we all are free. We all should be treated the same, bro. Or sis. I don't know where you are. It should be if you are good and can do the job, you should have an opportunity for it. They shouldn't hinder you in any job. Shouldn't hinder you because of your name, because of your race. It should be because of your attitude. If you come in like ready to go and you're amped, yes. And you know what you're doing, yes. Got you. But if you come in talking shit and act like you don't deserve it, I remember I don't go too many of them, but I remember when I first moved to LA and I'm from Indiana. So people who know from the Midwest ever moved to like I don't know about New York so much, but moved to like LA, California from like the Midwest, you know the difference between back then, I don't know about now, but back then, like in the 90s, about the difference between a Midwest person going for a job interview and a person born in California going for a job interview. Depending, most of the time, depending on the job. Your lawyer is a whole different story. But if you're going for a job, just a regular job, I don't care if it's a grocery store. I don't care if it's a security job. I don't care if it's for a hotel. I don't care what it is. In the Midwest, back in the day, I don't know what they do now. You go to these job interviews suited and booted. If you don't know what that means, you wanted this job, so you went to this job with like your Sunday best on, trying to give the best impression. You want this job bad, and you just pretty much did whatever you could. Y'all, can I tell y'all when I moved to California? After I got out, I was like, I worked for Arsenio Hall. His show ended, and then I needed to get a job before I got another job back in the industry. I had to get a job in the in between time trying to get back into the industry. And I had every little job, whether it be security, whether it be. So this one, I remember going to this security job. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm from the Midwest. So getting a job interview, I went for a security job, suited and booted with my best on. Y'all, tell me why I end up being the best dressed person in the damn building. The boss was even dressed bummy. I walk in, you know what I'm saying, and it was a bad experience, not because of what I wore, because there was some hella racist shit that was going on. But when I was waiting, because my name is Andrew Weaver, right? So it sounds like a white dude. So I'm sitting there waiting in the waiting room, and in the waiting room, I got my resume. I'm sitting there chilling. I got, I work for a senior and that stuff. I got it all together. I'm thinking I'm gonna get my interview. These white people came in there for the same job in flip flops, wife beaters, shorts that were sagging. I was like, what? I was like, hey, y'all, are you coming for the security job? Yeah, 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 yeah. You too. Yep. I'm like, you? Yep. What the fuck? Y'all come to a job interview like this, bruh? That's how it was. I was sitting there tripping off, and I was like, and y'all expect to get the job, huh? Like, yep. What's the big deal? This was normal to them. It freaked me out, yo. I was like, for real? And when I walked in for the interview, the boss was dressed bummy. I was like, yeah, I ain't getting this job. I ain't getting this one at all. I haven't been to a lot of job interviews since, but but that dress, that suited and booted shit, I was like, man, that's a Midwest thing. In the South, in California, these people dress bummy to go to work, man. I'm like, if this the best you gonna do for a job interview, when they come to work, bro, they wearing underwear. They wearing underwear, and you seen them at their absolute best. A white beater and khakis and flip flops with socks. That's their like Sunday best. When they come to work on a regular basis, if you ain't got them in a uniform, they coming with thongs and barefoot. That's their normal wear. They coming in swimsuits. I mean, come on, man. You can't come to a job interview in shorts and a wife beater. Y'all get surfers out in Texas now, South Texas. Yeah, see, it's changed a lot from when I was. I'm 55, so it used to be a thing where people came suited and booted in like the, I say 90s, early 90s. Yeah, early 90s was a lot in LA. It was never in LA, obviously, but in Indiana it was. But you sit there and be like, wow. It's a New York thing too. Uh, Bam J was it J Photo? Yeah, we was suited and booted, man. We came with respect. You know what I'm saying? I didn't wear like a hat or nothing. I didn't have like no 3-piece, but you know, boy was looking fly. Yeah, I tried to get a job. I wasn't trying to go there and like, change out their fucking toilet seats. I mean, like, it's crazy. But yeah. So that's something that had gave me a culture shock when I moved to LA, getting into the entertainment industry for a while. But I don't know how many people had that experience, but I did. I laugh about it every once in a while because after a while I never went with no shorts and no whatever. But after a while, living here for a while, I come with a nice button up shirt and some jeans. You know, what I'm saying, nice tennis shoes for a job interview in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, because I was like, ain't nobody else dressing up. I ain't gonna be sitting there dressing up, sweating and shit in a suit while my boss walking around in a G string. Then get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I'm a software engineer. I work in financial and left to work for a startup and had the same experience, right? You freak out when you see that. You be like, what? Dog, I know you didn't come here with this. You at work? Yeah, that shit was real. Shit was real. I remember I worked for a small startup too, and yeah, it was crazy. One number like energy drinks and snacks. You sitting there like, is this what y'all have for lunch? Said breakfast too? Okay, shit. Coffee and energy drinks and snacks. Sugar. Yeah, that shit is crazy. Then I went to I don't know how long ago you've been working for the a small business. The difference is I probably about um 2016 somewhere in there 15. I went to this. I had an interview at this small um tech company, and it was in Santa Monica. And I went up to like I don't know whatever floor it was, and yo, I had never seen how small businesses that's got like startup businesses that's got like money, yo, that shit was crazy. I walked up there, yo. I had never seen this before. I don't know if y'all seen stuff like this, but I walked up and I'm sitting there waiting in an elevator. I'm coming up to whatever floor it is in Santa Monica. I walk out, turn right. There was a right in front. There was a door was open. Looked like almost like a what do you call this show? Well, anyway, like a lawyer office or something like that. These big doors open, and right in front of you is the receptionist desk, right? And then they said, "Oh, you got a little waiting room over here." So I went over and sat in the waiting room. And then they took me over. They said, "You can go to the conference room." On the way to the conference room, y'all, I had never seen shit like this, and I said, "This is like startup, right?" It's like, yeah, I'm expecting snacks and things like that. There, yo, why did this place have everything a teenager would ever want? I mean, they had like video games, like the stand up shits, you know what I'm saying? Like you did when you was a kid. They had ping pong, they had all this table tennis, you know what I'm saying? They had a race car machine, you get in and shit, the shit tilted. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck did I walk into? It's like Disneyland. And the kitchen, yo, crazy. They had the big old like little these things called like these tubes that had cereal in it. I mean, like every kind of cereal, Captain Crunch, all kind of cereals that you would ever want. I'm sitting there like, the fuck is this? These huge tubes full of like cereal, had candy. Yo, it was like 45 different types of beer. They had beer on tap. I was like, at work? I was tripping, yo. I had never seen nothing like this. I was like, man, this is my world, though. I don't know what this is all about. This is my world. I didn't get the job, though. But like, this is my world. I was like, I don't know what y'all need me to do. But just for the kitchen and the spread and the food y'all bringing, man, the food they brought was always catered. I was there for a while. They're like, you want to eat? I'm like, sure. I'm thinking it's going to be sandwiches, yo. There's steak. There's all kinds of shit. I mean, it's like huge chefs that came. I'm like, yeah, start up. It's crazy. It's crazy. Then Bam is right. They give you that shit so you work all day, all night. It ain't no lie. Because I got into this tech group in LA, and they always met at the Google like campus near. It's not Santa Monica. I forgot where it was at, but it's like one like a little off skirt area. I forgot what it is. Not Culver City. I'm trying to remember what the city is. But anyway, the Google here in LA, one of the Googles in LA, and I went in. It was cool as shit, and all they had food and things like that. But then they said, they had like snacks and stuff there, just snacks in this room. We were sitting there having conversations about different, writing programs and things like that. And they were getting black programmers and all that. And they said, "Oh, it's time to go get something to eat." I was like, "This ain't it." I'm like, I'm sitting there. This is a spread right here, right? It's like the snacks was a spread. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there like, okay, where we walking to? We had to walk outside, walk across the street into a building, couple like turns, a huge ass cafeteria with chefs cooking whatever you ask. Wait, I want, just make up some shit. I want steak tartare. The dude was like, okay. I was like, that's on the menu. I was like, we don't have a menu. You ask what you get, you get. I was like, well, damn. I need to stay in tech. But like you said, you ain't never going home. You stuck there, bro. You might as well say it's a hotel job. You staying at the job as a hotel. Right, DJ? The snacks was ridiculous. They were sitting there and everything. You sure you don't want to take it? I'm like, I can take that with me. He's like, yeah, we got these little. They had little to-go boxes. I was like, man, shit. Let me come back for an interview every other day. But nah, it's crazy. Some of these things are crazy. You just would not realize some of these tech companies how they go crazy on it. They go dumb. What did you say? I'm 43 and my oldest nephew is 35. Almost raised in the same household, but it's just that lines of much generation when it is used to being clear distinction. I still style the dress. Yeah, yeah. It's all kind of different style of dress. But when I went to this organization, um, and I think I went to Snapchat too. I think it's in Santa Monica, and it was crazy dumb too. The stuff that was in that place. Yeah, it's insane, yo. It's insane. You would just not know if you never been to a tech place. I suggest you try at least one time in your life. Try to get an interview at a tech place, a startup. Because when they get bigger, it's not so much. Except for Google, maybe Apple's the same way. I got a friend that works at Apple, but I never visited her. You get fed every time for your interview. Exactly. But it was cool. But like Bam said, excuse me, you stuck there. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. We were there. I was there for like a interview, but then it was like they had like a thing for like black programmers or some shit that they like. You want to go to that? I'm like, sure. It was happening at night, and a lot of the people who worked there, because it wasn't like for new programmers, it was just for programmers. They had some kind of group, and after the job interview, she said, you're more than happy to stay, and I stayed. These people had worked all day, and this little seminar at night was like 4 hours, but food again. I was like, well, damn, y'all here all day, every day. Y'all getting paid for this? And that they weren't getting paid for that, but they were getting food. It's 100% true. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave y'all to your own devices. But here's the thing, like I said, wrap it up and what I talked about earlier today. I love just chatting with y'all. Love good people, but there were programs out here in the past, and I understand it was racist back then. The only reason I bring it up is not to bring back up racism. It's about bringing up a system that worked and would have worked for all people. We don't have to be racist with the program. We can bring the program back and help those who are unemployed, who are looking for jobs and just can't find them. We can be able to put food on their tables and create income and create taxes to pay off the debts that we have. But the reason we don't have them is because billionaires want us to starve so that they can treat us any which way they want. If you are starving for a job, it creates a workforce for billionaires to treat you and to hire you with whatever pay they want to give you. And the government is in cahoots, all of them, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and like I said, Bernie Sanders, all of them are in on this shit. All of them that we like are still in on this shit. And it's about time we call them on their shit and say, let's bring back these programs so that we can get people who are unemployed living wage jobs. If not, you know what I'm saying, at least a job, not like $130 a fucking week or two, some real money to be in their house so they can be able to live off of and afford some place to live. Because we have enough jobs out here for these people in this country who are trying to do their absolute best. And our government, our billionaires, and our politicians just don't care. Look at history. Don't listen to me. Go look up a WPA. Go look up the WPA was a worker of the Works Progress Administration. Look up the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, and also look up the Public Works Administration, the PWA. Those three programs created well over 11 million jobs for American citizens. We should not have to wait until human beings have to eat through a trash can or find food through a trash can to create programs like this. And here's the problem. Here's the thing I want to leave with is that we have welfare in which we're giving people money as it is to do nothing. They're fighting and trying to get a job. They can't get it, and you're giving them money to do nothing so that these people can make fun of them not having anything to do nothing when they can actually create jobs and these people can have a job that's respectable for them to be able to live off of and not have the stigma of they're just some kind of, low life that doesn't want to work. And stop allowing these billionaires to put American citizens who want to work in these horrible positions while being made fun of while they're trying to make their life better. We can do better than that, America. We can do better. And until we speak to our congressmen and women and tell them, bring back something like this for the American people so that the unemployment is no longer relying on people just receiving a check to sit home because we want billionaires to feel good about themselves and not be competitive with the government. It's not socialism. It's capitalism working for the most of us and not for the least of us. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Good night to y'all. I appreciate you. You're very welcome, Rude. Alice, yeah, I understand what's going on with that. Vera, you're very welcome. You guys have a great night. Y'all be safe. Much love to y'all. We'll be back tomorrow, probably with some craziness that's going on in this world that we can't do nothing about, except for like rant about it. Like I said, I'm gonna be going out of town pretty soon to go take care of my mom and her stuff as she moves and transitions into a facility. We gotta take care of her property and things of that nature. So I'm gonna probably be gone, and maybe the next week or so. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out all the details. But I'll pop in and out on my phone or on my laptop and keep you guys abreast of what I find out in between time. But much love to y'all. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. And we'll keep on doing what we're doing. Again, keep looking out for Avid Solutionist. Go on YouTube and TikTok and follow me. I need to be able to go live as soon as I start. So I need on TikTok, I need to get up to 1,000 followers just to go live. It's not for finances or nothing like that. I just want to go live with it. And YouTube, I can go live immediately. I'm sure at the very beginning. I believe I can. I forgot. But yeah, so go follow that, look at that, see what I'm doing, and we're gonna start having fun with it. It's gonna be more educational. We're gonna be like having, if you ever wonder why people created solutions in the past and the problems they had in order for them to come up with that solution, that's gonna be part of what we're doing, and then creating new ones, and then listening to each other's problems and trying to solve each other's problems as possible, give solutions or opportunities, pretty much like a mastermind in that aspect, and have all kind of fun with it. That's what I love to do. I love working with mental shit with your brain, making it work instead of just sitting and letting it fall asleep by doing nothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, much love to you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, y'all be safe. I'll see you guys when I see you.